Liam, why has this happened?
This has happened because wholesale energy prices have gone down across the world because geopolitical tensions, war in Ukraine, violence in the Middle East and so on, while those geopolitical tensions are still there, they've slightly abated in recent months. So wholesale energy prices have come down. So Ofgem, which is the energy regulator, has put a lower cap on. And let's have a look at some of the numbers, what it actually means for GB News viewers and listeners who are paying their energy bills. So the energy price cap, it's changed every quarter, and the average gas and electricity combined bill will now be £1,568 a year from July. That's down 7% on present levels, a saving of around £122 a year. The cap, though, I'm afraid, Mark, is likely to rise again in October.
What, when the weather gets cold?
Partly because of the weather, partly because there's also an expectation that geopolitical tension will crank up again. And just bear in mind, and this is really the killer, even though the price cap has come down for now, the standard bill was £1,084 a year before the war in Ukraine, way down from what the average is going to be from July to October of 1,500 plus. So it seems to me that the war in Ukraine, this growing tension, the fact that Russia now doesn't send so much of its oil and gas westward, it tends to send it eastward to China. A lot of the geopolitical plates have shifted. It does seem to me now there is a permanent increase in gas and electricity bills. And these, not just for households, OK, also for firms. Our firms face the highest unit electricity costs of any major economy in Western Europe. That feeds into inflation, that feeds into lower productivity, that feeds into lower growth.
But they never, ever, I mean, for them to even put the prices down, it makes a change. And typical that it should go up when obviously we're going to use more heating. So what about the GB energy that the Labour Party are talking about? What impact, in your view, would that have on prices? Because they're going to have to get the money off something, so I'm presuming that there'll be some sort of levy or tax on energy.
Well, there's now, because we're in election mode, suddenly everybody is wheeling out policy promises left, right and centre. I mean, on front of the newspaper today, Tories to cut green levies on fuel bills, they're suddenly saying. Maybe fuel bills will come down under the Tories. They're trying to promise us if those subsidies that we pay through our gas and electricity bills that then go to renewable firms to build the wind farms, to build the solar farms and so on, maybe they will come down, though I wouldn't hold my breath about it. As far as Labour's plans go, GB Energy, I'd like to say that I could give you a detailed set of analysis, Nana, about what they're going to do, but I can't because I don't know, because the detail just isn't there. It seems to me at the moment it's just a slogan. GB Energy.
Switch.
But what does it mean? I don't actually know, and I've tried to find out. Maybe over the coming weeks of this election campaign we'll find out more, because believe you me, before the war in Ukraine, the idea that I'd come into the studio and talk to you guys about gas and electricity bills and energy price caps, this was Nerdsville, Tennessee. You know, no one was talking about this stuff. Gas and electricity bills were roughly what they were. They weren't too bad. They were just direct debits for most of us. Some of us on prepayment, of course. There have been some improvements in the way lower income prepayment households have been treated in recent years, but not too many. They still get a raw deal. They still pay higher unit electricity costs than the rest of us. But it wasn't mainstream politics. Energy prices are now mainstream politics, and that is going to be a big part of this election campaign.
Halligan,